as status lah. So today I will like to present as status for a creative content in Monocle. Hari ni saya nak mulakan dengan 10 cara mudah untuk susun creative ads. Okay. I started off with tunjukkan anatomy of FB ads, typical FB ads. So in FB ads, you have like the primary text kat atas, lepas tu you have like creative in the middle, and also the headline and description is, the call is the headline, bawah tu description, and also the CTA button lah. So but when you scroll, typically when kita scroll kita scroll our feed, the first thing when you go and nampak yang sponsored ni kan, you will like apa-apa, bukan just sponsored lah, apa-apa yang you will look in your feed is, of course the one that caught your eyes the most is always gonna be the creative lah. The creative is in the middle part tu yang akan nampak besar-besar. So what it tells is, it's really really a major part of what makes a headline. People stop scrolling, and also people tengok the creative, and also start read your ads lah, and that's where it goes. Mana kena bawa, adakah people akan klik ke mana, pergi ke website, pergi ke mana. It all comes down from the creative part lah. Alright, that's why I said people will feast with their eyes first. So people akan nampak benda yang bila you scroll, you akan nampak benda-benda yang caught their attention lah. So in this case is creative lah. That's why creative will do the most heavy lifting in the first when you present your ads lah. Then but also it comes down with your message lah. Apa yang message yang you nak bawa, apa iklan you is about. Your creative has to cater towards that lah. So barulah people akan read more towards your ads. Okay, but how do you know if your ad is working? Macam mana kita nak tahu if ads kita tu betul-betul berkesan? Adakah melalui ROAS? Adakah sebab ROAS, kita nak tengok daripada ROAS ke semata-mata? Memang secara senang kita tengok through ROAS lah. But as we all know, as a marketer, as a former still is a marketer, ROAS ni tidak bergantung hanya mati-mati hanya pada kreatif sajalah. There's a lot of things going on. Maybe ada your landing page, how your copywriting, and so you cannot nak pukul rata kat kreatif tu is nak kata tak fair pun, but there's a certain case yang memang sometimes memang kreatif itself boleh carry everything, sampailah orang buatkan compel enough untuk buat orang click through and also make them make the purchase. So instead of ROAS, but selain ROAS, actually you can actually assess your creative secara lebih mendalam. Okay, dengan cara mana? Okay, kita using AIDA to measure how our ad creative performance would be like. I think most of the copywriter also DMs, and also most of yang itu marketing lah know what is the AIDA framework is about. AIDA framework is memang very common, very straightforward. Tapi kita selalu dengar daripada copywriting je kan. So AIDA, what's AIDA stands for? A is for attention, I is for interest, and D is for desire, and also A is for action. So but what does AIDA has got to do with creative? So we go deeper in, we make it as in my how sir ajak saya. There's more ways you can assess AIDA in a creative sense lah. You can like you can tahu from AIDA, you can know how your creative performs really well or really badly. So but mostly if you want to utilize AIDA, like really utilize, you have to your content in a video form lah, paling banyak senang nak access. If it's we go through one by one. So from the start, attention. So attention is what in a creative sense? Attention is always attention. A is attention. In a creative sense is what does it garners, apa yang buatkan you capture people's attention. So when we talking about creative, it's all about when you scroll and you stop. So if you stop, is you get people's attention. So in a creative sense, it's always about the first, what makes the people, what the hook is. So if it's your creative is a video, you can actually kira. There's a matrix called thumb stop. We call it thumb stop in Monocle. So how do you do it is you can actually custom metrics from in the custom column tu, you guys masuk, you boleh buat custom metrics. I think the webinar dulu saya ada ajar. So you take 3-second view, maknanya the people that watch your video in 3 seconds or more, and then you divide by impression. So by this, you can actually get the percentage of how many people are actually hooked towards your creative in this case video lah. So a good benchmark is around 25 to 30% lah. 25 to 30% means your video is really hookable lah, really hook. Then next is interest. How do you measure interest? Interest is when you already got people to hook to your video. So then what's next? What's next is you get them to get in more interest. Like Aida lah, you go towards down the funnel. So the next is interest. You make them interested with your creative, with your video. So if they are interested with your video, meaning dia orang akan tengok lebih lama. So kenapa tengok lebih lama lagi penting? So because it's a matrix yang goes hand in hand with outbound and ROAS. So macam bila people tengok your video lama, people akan lebih tahu ni in case of your creative. Like I said, your creative does send the message about your product betul-betul lah. So people akan tengok lebih lama, people akan tahu lebih pasal your product, people will click, people will buy. Macam tu lah. So a good video is around 3 seconds lah based on this context. But towards us is around, we be a bit harsher on ourselves as an agency. Kita let around 5 seconds and above lah. If your video got around 5 seconds and more watch time, that means it's good enough lah. Then desire is the next funnel. The much down the funnel is desire. So if you get your audience to interested in your video. So what's next? You have to bring them somewhere. So this is kita tengok outbound lah, outbound CTR. So if your call to action is good enough, if your call to action, if your offer is good and testimony semua ada, a good outbound is around 1% and above. But don't stop there lah. Kalau if you can find more, it will be better lah. Lastly is ROAS lah. Like I said, ROAS is not, you cannot like sapu rata on creative side je lah, but it's one of the things lah. Tapi kalau let's say kita dah tengok copywriting okay, sales page okay, so in the end, if your ROAS is not good enough, probably your content is not good enough. So in this case, if your ads are making good enough ROAS, then that means you are actually getting a winning ads lah. Okay, next, how the 3 rules of ads making. So how do you make sure your ads are good? How to make a good ad? So a good ad is make sure kalau you guys nak buat ads is go for mobile view. Always kalau like I think as also a bit of design myself, kita buat mostly on PC and sometimes, but right now zaman sekarang kita dah tengok macam-macam app, macam-macam apa lagi yang semua boleh edit daripada phone. Because why? They are catering towards the audience yang FB ads saja pun dah 98% of FBA users are on mobile. I think I read yang memang 81% or something is memang purely guna mobile saja kat FB dia, tak campur. Macam like us as marketers, we use both on app and also on PC, but like on average is 98% lah. So which means is most of your audience are looking at your ads through the phone. So you can make sure your creative is really looks good on your phone lah. If it looks good on your phone, it will look good on other people's phone as well lah, and much more engaging lah. So next is go native. Native is what? Native is maksud dia macam make sure your ads are very familiar with the platform you are serving your ads tu lah. So make sure macam contohnya kalau macam ads untuk dekat Facebook kan, macam kalau you jual say produk gugur rambut. So maybe kalau kat Facebook style ads dia lain, style ads dia maybe kena lebih lebih chill, like maybe product focus. But if you go on TikTok for the same product, probably you have to like maybe joget ke apa kan, maybe something like that lah. I'm not very familiar with TikTok yet, on the way towards that lah. So and then if LinkedIn's probably people not even looking at those kind of products in the first place. Probably ada juga maybe orang yang dah kerja ke apa orang dah memang kerja separuh mati ke apa kan, memang dah tua, dah stress out, rambut gugur, maybe they can relate, something like that. But go native is make sure the main point is your ads are very familiarized with the platform you are sending it to. In this case, usually UGC content, user generated content, always works best lah, especially for Facebook and TikTok, because it's a trend right now yang currently memang UGC, because it doesn't look like an ad and people are like got that human nature touch and all. So UGC currently works best in that sense. Okay, then is clear beats clever. What does it mean is clear beats clever is you don't have to make sure your ads, you don't have to like make sure your ads tu terlalu complicated. You macam nak kejarkan hook sangat-sangat kan, nak buat benda-benda pelik apa pusing ke apa semua kan, but in the end it doesn't deliver the message yang you want to show to your product. So make sure that your product, even though the idea is for the creative is to be really hook, to have a good hook semua tu, but make sure it also gives out as much as information about what your product or service, so that the audience can actually know lah what you are talking about, and if it comes to the right audience, they would want to buy lah. Always know that if your customers are confused, they won't buy. Alright. Okay, now we can go to the main topic that we are supposed to start with, which is 10 easy ads creative types you can use. This I emphasize on easy as in because most of us, not most of, I think most of it like I choose the ones yang very easy to do, because like mostly yang kita ramai yang from SMEs, business owners or dropshippers and all kan. So kita tak ada like maybe a proper team or proper ni, but do something yang memang kita boleh buat sendiri. So I choose 10 yang memang easy for you to use, for you to edit and use for your ads lah. Okay. I pecah by two. Satu by product focus and the next is person focus. So product focus is like I said, product kita macam focusing on the products lah. So the first ads that I want you that you can do is actually slideshow lah. What is slideshow ads? Slideshow ads ni kalau you perasan is a collection of static images, maknanya gambar banyak, you make it as a slideshow lah, instead of you doing just one gambar je kan. And this is actually easy because kalau as a marketer sendiri pun, kalau you tak edit kat luar pun, you can actually edit from the Facebook ads itself lah, because you kalau tengok siapa yang kat bahagian ad level tu, dia ada tiga types of creative you can edit. Images, single images and video, carousel and also slideshow. This is where you can actually put it up. But if you want more kebebasan, you can use a third party app or something lah, like Canva or something kan. You can make your own slideshow lah. So what goods to use on slideshow? Usually if you have like collection of products, or produk ada banyak like tudung ke apa kan, boleh letak, boleh tunjuk yang kalau produk you boleh tunjuk how much maybe banyak variation. Also boleh tengok like maybe boleh showcase your USP, and also you boleh juga letak testimonials. Testimonials is like you can put lah banyak-banyak testimonial, instead of you put one, you put testimonial banyak, which is good because you boleh tunjukkan kepada orang yang your product are selling well, and also your product being received very good towards your consumer lah banyak. And like I said, this kind of ads is very good for business with multiple SKU, multiple product something. And also one thing that you can use is if you already have a winning images sebelum ni mostly kan, we all know yang sometimes ads don't stay winning forever lah. So kadang-kadang dia fatigue apa kan. So instead of you just dump it out, you can actually ambil, kalau ada lebih dari satu bagus. And then you already know it was once winning before, then you put it in a video, you put it in a slideshow video macam ni and test it again. Okay, next is a hybrid. A hybrid is a type of ads. Ini banyak lah, if you can see kat FB ads, ramai-ramai brand-brand kat Malaysia ni pakai lah macam ni, hybrid. Basically it's just a video with the product image kat depan. So apa yang bagusnya buat ads macam ni? So ads macam ni is usually the image tu tak gerak lah. Memang image kat situ with ada headline, ada offer or testimony. So this kind of ads really good. And also dekat video tu you boleh letak macam maybe letak video branding or video video tutorial, video yang macam ni lah. So you boleh nampak yang people boleh tengok boleh baca like to consume dua benda at once. Boleh tengok oh this is the product, and also dekat video tu boleh tengok okay this is what the product does. So it's really it would help to do to perform better lah daripada just a single video or just a single product page, so product image. So sama juga you boleh letak product info, testimoni dekat dalam kat bahagian produk tu, macam yang dekat dengan gambar tengah tu dia letak headline the perfect pair. Also you will letak offer, maybe letak 50% off something, atau dapat barang sampai baru bayar. Okay. Next is Boomerang. Okay, Boomerang like semua orang tahulah. Boomerang siapa yang main Instagram selalu buat Boomerang semua kan, but it's something yang satu yang bagusnya pasal ni, instead of using like Boomerang is usually like 2-3 seconds up to 5 second maximum kot kan, if I'm not mistaken. Tapi what good is it does is daripada kalau you put it in that AIDA punya funnel kan, instead of daripada I lupa nak cakap tadi, dekat AIDA funnel tu, if you're running static images, you tak boleh nak utilize bahagian AI tu, bahagian attention, because itu matrix yang dalam video saja, and also I yang interest tu, sebab tu average play time. So if it's a static image, you can just judge your ads, your gambar tu through outbound je, which is desire tu lah. So if you make it as a Boomerang, it automatically becomes a video tau. So when it becomes a video, you can actually read that it actually performs well ke tak through the AIDA funnel lah. So apa yang what caught my eye is this kind of product yang macam skincare ni. Kalau tengok kat gambar yang ke kiri sekali kan, so you can actually like showcase people motion yang what does the product do, also ataupun maybe zoom in tunjuk texture of the product ke apa kan, memang rub through your fingers ke apa. So it's really good. So next is comparison. This is really good. I try ni banyak kali, and it does well lah. Because why it does well, because you actually have like macam satu benda yang yin and yang, benda yang negatif, benda yang like positif. Most of the time bukan negatif lah, most of the time benda tu tak ada apa-apa pun, but you tunjukkan comparison, your product is better than your competitors or something yang from the standard market. So your audience can actually see what your product showcase. Kat sini you boleh showcase your features yang macam USP you. Then also this works for both. You nak buat video boleh, you nak buat image pun boleh. Video maybe macam dalam gambar ni, kalau image pun you just letak, contohnya macam let's say a perfume kan, you letak sebelah tu perfume ori, sebelah tu perfume what's your like, maybe you jual yang perfume kopi ori apa kan, but kopi ori lah, perfume inspired apa kan, and it's really cheaper than the original perfume. That's one of it lah you can do. Okay, then next is tutorial. Tutorial ni pun dia somehow kind of like macam nak ke UGC sikit lah, but tak ada UGC, but tak juga. It's more like you show your audience yang your step by step of how to use your product lah. So people will know yang memang akan nampak yang what your product does, instead of you tunjuk daripada foto je kan. At least dia nampak, tengok, let's say you look at the sofa in the middle tu, it goes from something yang small, siapa sangka boleh goes into like something so big. So you showing something yang user tak tahu. So it somehow kind of like boleh campur dengan unboxing sekali lah. So boleh tunjuk unboxing pun, really from unboxing you tunjuk sampai tutorial. It really does well lah, especially if you put make sure you put yang in the end you put like what the outcome is lah, and so that the audience boleh nampak lah what they will get. Also this kind of thing you can actually test with different iteration of hooks lah. Maybe depan you boleh tunjuk you boleh start dengan benefits, or start dengan like reaction diorang, reaction apa yang dalam cakap, also ataupun letak ada outcome kat depan. There's those kind of iteration you can put lah. And next is screen recording. Screen recording ni tak ramai pakai, but it's really good. You can actually tunjuk apa ni, how people, if you have a website, you can tunjuk lah, like sometimes if people in FBS, especially if you selling a product to like older generation, they are not very tech savvy kan. Apa ni, you can actually use these ads untuk ajar orang like how you can actually make a purchase through your website. And also actually instead of, kalau website pun I think you can also use it for like if you main apa ni, sales apa ni, salesperson ke apa, if ada salesperson, you tunjuk lah screenshot of probably letak screenshot of chats with your apa ni, salesperson. Dia cakap kat chat tu macam mana dindong daripada masuk tu, go through the chat and also they make a purchase. So it would look good lah. This is really good if you use it as an educational campaign lah, retargeting macam tu untuk ajar orang. Okay, we're done with the 6 example of product focus. Next is we go to like person focus, especially into UGC lah. Okay, what is UGC? User generated. UGC is user generated content. It's basically macam benda yang your customer or your influencer, anybody yang not you, yang buat the ads for you. But you can actually apa ni, it becomes and automatically become reusable for an ad lah. So one of the things yang what type of UGC you can use is reaction video. So reaction video is really good because it's really emotional. You nampak, you tunjuk kan, macam it's really hook lah. Basically kau tengok macam orang tunjuk bau perfume ke apa, wangi gila macam tu kan, really effective. You really tunjuk yang what your product really showcase. In this case, product tu is a massage gun and you see how the reaction looks like kan. So in this case, is user experience is key towards this creative and it needs to be very emotional. And it's actually really easy to do. You just put a camera and just rakam macam tu. Kadang kalau nak buat between your staff ke apa pun boleh. It's really easy to do. Or you do it on your own towards your family or something kan. Minta jadi model ke apa-apa. Okay, next is unboxing. So unboxing is really good juga. It adds to that mystery vibes of orang tengok daripada kotak. The hook is like tengok daripada kotak boleh tengok what's inside the box, what's in the box and tu kan, that kind of meme. So when you actually buka and audience can actually expect what they will get, and that's really something yang would also help in conversion rate of your ads and also your product. And this is also a good thing, a good ads to use for retargeting. And also this is the standard UGC lah. UGC is the review UGC like from influencer or from your customers, but usually what's good about this is like it's like 2-in-1. You get a review which is a form of testimony, and it also sounds like social proof because especially if you like ada banyak-banyak customer yang buat buat review ke apa-apa, or you hire influencers to buat it gives that social view, social proof feeling to your products lah. So also from inside the video pun you can ask the customer or clients, or you can edit yourself towards the end of the video, cakap what the product does, the USP inside tu. Boleh tulis apa USP product you, boleh cakap apa offer you, what people said about it. And this is also really good because it doesn't look like an ad, and also sound more natural lah. Memang orang akan nampak lah. The key is also kalau buat UGC ni sebenarnya lagi tak nampak lawa, lagi bagus sebenarnya. If you can do that and also doesn't sound scripted, and dia kalau boleh lagi natural, lagi bagus lah basically. And okay, lastly is before and after. Okay, this is very controversial lah, and because we have a lot of issue with this, and I think ramai marketers tahu. This basically you can goes both way for images and also video. It's very effective, tapi it's not it's not very FB ads. It doesn't ada certain times it doesn't goes well with FB ads punya policy ya. Especially if it's like health based products, because why? Because Facebook actually said yang apa ni? Wait Facebook actually said that Facebook state dalam policy the ads must not contain before and after images or images that contain unexpected or unlikely results. So especially like that's why I said, kalau macam biasa produk-produk health product orang kata macam produk merah ke apa kan, biasanya it's not memang realisticnya ni lah, and especially it plays around with people's health kan. So that's why Facebook don't like it. But I think if your product is something yang doesn't harm and it just give things like macam dalam gambar ni bagi rambut lurus gitu, I think it's okay. Pro tip is, instead of if you want to put like gambar ke apa, instead of putting before after kan, you boleh try putting without and with. Sometimes Facebook dia boleh detect from the text itself. Dia boleh tengok macam before after dia, but dia sendiri cakap before and after the text itself. So kadang-kadang Facebook boleh detect from the text itself. So I think that's 10 yang I dah boleh bagi. So some pro tip. Next is some extra tips for you to do your ads is especially for UGC ke apa or any ads, always use subtitles on your videos. Why? Because on apa ni, always put subtitles lah. Actually it's not apa ni, tak susah sangat pun nak tak subtitles ni. And also it really helps because apa ni, on default biasanya when people are scrolling your ads, it's actually on silent mode lah. Memang auto muted your video. So if especially if people dah tahu yang tu is apa ni, is iklan as a ads. So dia orang scroll and dia nampak like some people like showcase or product or apa-apa tapi tak tahu apa dia cakap because it doesn't tak turn on the sounds kan. But if you put subtitles, probably like something you put like something yang cakap this product does this. So you put something like had a curiosity element inside that creative. So it kind of helps, and we actually try this and memang helps on our creative lah. And this is FBS library. Next is FBS library is your best friend. So if scroll around the FBS library a lot lah. So one of the best tip is if you scroll around and you know, especially if you know what your competitors is ke apa, and if you see dia orang punya ads tu, kalau yang lagi lama macam contoh posting sampai daripada tahun lepas pakai, maknanya winning kerja. So maknanya that's their best ads lah. Probably you can like innovate something from there. But always scroll around FBS library. I think TikTok pun dah ada dia punya ads library dia orang. Next is make sure your UGC content sounds natural rather than scripted, like I said before lah. So an easy way to say is always comes from the heart lah. Memang sounds corny and cheesy as it is, but that's how it is lah. If you want it to convert, make it sound natural rather than scripted. You don't have to like put, maybe just give some key points but most likely cakap like straight after je in one breath or something, but that works best rather than like scripted. Okay, in conclusion, like I said, creative plays a major role to deliver your ads. So you cannot neglect lah creative. Just main ambil, just tengok ada produk, letak gambar macam tu je without doing anything, without doing proper research or something, just send. You gonna like, you plan to fail lah macam tu. Then like I said, IDA model can be helpful to diagnose your creative performance. Is that you can use your the IDA from attention, interest, desire, and also action to know that how your creative are performing. Next is always be testing new creative, even the winning ones. This is like, I think any marketing agency or anyone running ads would know lah. Jangan be selesa. Even if you jumpa the winning creative, always find a way to improvise. Never be enough lah. Always be testing new creative. So if you dah jumpa yang ni, okay, so what's next? What can you do to improvise ni? So next week, yang dah winning tu scale lah. Until tak boleh scale, tapi at the same time go testing new creative yang based on that winning creative. Then doing creative is not just macam buat kreatif just tak gambar, and then you have to do your research as how you do your how you find a good copywriting, how do you want to know your market, how do you want to like sell your product. You always have to do research, right? That same goes for creative. What kind of creative works well with your audience, what kind of what kind of copy, what kind of angle. So if you do like if you find this angle yang macam contohnya produk produk rambut tadi kan, okay, if you nak orang bekerja, yang your creative kena cater orang bekerja lah. If your creative tiba-tiba cakap pasal budak-budak orang muda ke apa, tak jadilah kan, it doesn't resonate. So that's why I said it's different, also different angle require different creative. So if you like testing angle, contoh if an agency you ada klien bagi kreatif yang satu je kan, dia boleh test, but also if as a like safe test, kita nak pakai duit ke apa kan, it would be better if you can like I said, resonate that creative with the different angle, like different creative for different angle. Next is your creative doesn't have to be pretty. Like I said tadi, UGC ke apa semua tu pakai phone boleh. Yang penting your message, your message, your angle, apa yang you nak showcase your ads tu, make sure it resonate lah. Make sure it resonates with your audience lah. Lastly, apa yang I tunjuk ni semua, apa yang ni, it does works for me, but doesn't necessarily works for maybe doesn't work for you. But like I said, you always have to be testing. What works for me doesn't necessarily works for you guys. You have to know what your product is, what your audience is. So I think that's it lah. Lastly, like I said, look at this meme, dia cakap always it shows case how you should always test your test creative lah. If you tak test creative, you don't know which one yang perform best lah.